Hey guys, this is Zero. Welcome back to my channel. Today I've got something special for you guys. It is and I'm going to call it the Bisonte C45. It is the Italian Tier 8 Premium Auto Reloading Heavy Tank. I've gotten the chance to play a decent amount of games in it, test it out, see what's good about it, what's not, and my general opinions. So it's got 3 shells in its auto reloader. The first one that you load takes the longest, and then the last one that you load is the last one you load and the first one you fire is the shortest reload. So I could go into full details about the auto reloading mechanic, but there's plenty of guides out there for that. The one special thing with the C45 and the Italian heavy tanks is the compensation mechanic. If you fire with less than 2 seconds left on your shell, then you will get a portion of your reload back for the next shell, which is nice if you end up accidentally or on purpose firing a little bit early. So as you can tell, it is quite mobile downhill. However, as you will see in just a little bit, it does have some low power to weight and bad terrain resistances. Overall, I started out thinking the tank was not all that good. Some people still think that. However, the more I played it, the more I found it being quite balanced and actually just fun to play because of the special mechanic. So right here, I'm just going to play one of my typical spots, use my gun depression. This thing does have 10 degrees of gun depression, which is very nice. And that is one way that you can get your turret to actually work. I'll show the armor model after the battle. So overall, the armor is not all that good. But here, let's see. So one shot, got 3 seconds in between shells. 2 shots. And actually, that was a high roll. It has 360 average, but there. We just did 1100 damage to a tier 9 heavy tank. So one of my other, I wouldn't say problems, but you do have to account for, is the shell velocity. The standard round has 218 pen and 1155 meters per second shell velocity, which is pretty solid. However, the heat shell only has 800 meters per second shell velocity, and the 270 pen, as nice as it is not record breaking at tier 8. Alright, so for the compensation mechanic, right here when the shell is loading, the last 2 seconds, you'll see some brackets that turn white. Look for that during this. So I'm not entirely sure what this grill was doing, but it's fine by me. Okay, so pay attention. Yeah, 4 seconds, 3 seconds. At 2 seconds, it becomes white. That's when if you fire it when that's white, you'll get part of your reload back. So, as you can tell, I've already put out 1800 damage. Overall, the tank does put out damage, not very quickly. The DPM is quite slow, actually. Or low, I should say. It has a slow reload. But the way you end up playing, you end up just dumping damage all at once. So you can go from 1000 to over 2000 to over 3000 at 3 separate occasions. And let's say you get YOLO'd, you can typically get your full clip out before you go down. The one thing you might notice is that the HP is quite low, only 1400, which has gotten me into trouble while playing it. And the armor, like I said, is mediocre at best. It does bounce here and there, especially the turret, but once we check out the armor model, you'll see what I mean. So, I keep saying mediocre. It doesn't do anything particularly well. yes, it has the auto reloader, but other than that, it's not the fastest. It doesn't have the highest power to weight. It does not have the best turret armor. It doesn't have very good hull armor. Doesn't have crazy standard or premium pen. Doesn't have very good shell velocity. Its reverse speed is just regular. And, well, it's alpha. Of course, I messed that shot up, otherwise I would have done much more damage this game, but there, we got a small bounce, but wasn't anything special. I was actually really glad I didn't YOLO in right there, after seeing how many tanks just moved up. So far you haven't seen anything with the armor, only one shot has actually come towards my tank. So, the gun itself, I will talk a little bit more about that right now, since we can see it in action. The aim time is not crazy long, but it still has a little bit to be yearned for. The actual soft stats are not all that good. The bloom can get quite annoying. The shots really like to dip, especially the heat shells. So you might be aiming at the side of a tank and it's going to hit the ground. And I've had that even at medium range. Like, you never really want to fire further than maybe 150 meters in this tank, because your shots are not going to connect consistently. So, I'm already at 3,700 damage. I was thinking I would have a really big game because all I needed to do was one more clip, but at the same time, it's all tier 9s and 10s, so we will see what happens. I could have aimed that better. I was worried about the 50 TP on my side. It was a bad shot, and the 270 pen definitely did not help me there. So this does, I think, perfectly satisfy crew training requirement for the tier 10 and other Italian heavies that look like they will be joining the game soon, relatively, just from all the different leaks and super test content and all of that. I'm excited just because it's another tech tree, another tier 10 to add to my collection. So I guess the question that everyone's wondering about, is the tank worth it? Personally, I don't think I would pick one up if I had to spend money. If it was in a marathon, or if it was one that I could win in something, maybe. But it's just mediocre all around. It is unique. It does have a solid mechanic, but it's not like you're going to go out and win every game that you go. Not that there's anything in the game that does that. I was actually, I don't even know, I might have been tabbed out right there. Anyways, oh no, I was typing. I was typing no cap. I wanted some more damage. I wanted to reach 5k. Yep, so there's the end of the game. You can jump over to the post-game stats. So right here you can see ace tanker. Not that that means that much, as the base XPs do fluctuate quite a bit. 4,500 damage, a little bit assist, 3 kills. It was a tier 10 game, so it's not like it's not an achievement, but I missed or bounced a lot of shots. and I felt that that was an easy 5.5, 6k damage game right there that I missed out on. As for how I did compared to the rest of the team, did pretty well in a tier 10 game. If I'd done like 2 or 3 more shots, I probably would have gone high caliber. 1474 base XP. And I was not running credit booster here, so I only made a little bit of credits. Though I've noticed that with credit boosters, I can actually make quite a bit of credits, especially since in tier 8 games, I do like to fire standard rounds because of the extra shell velocity. And because of how derpy the heat shells are, I like to fire the AP so it doesn't get absorbed by tracks or spaced armor. Alright, so let's look at the armor model real quick. So here we go. This is front. I already have the gun all the way down and max 10 degrees of gun depression. This is the live model, so you can see there it's not uniform at all. Lower plate's weak as expected. Upper plate is not actually very strong. T-rates can go through it on flat ground pretty consistently. Angled, still pretty solid. It cannot side scrape very well. It has 75 millimeters of armor, but you have to be at like this angle, and that exposes your weak upper and lower front plate. So the only real armor you can get is when you're hauled down. And even then, this is where it's really odd. You have these 2 strips on the side that are quite weak. It's only like 250 effective. It does have a lot of spaced armor. This is all spaced armor around it. However, so heat shells might get absorbed here and there, though I've found that's not actually the case, as heat seems to go through it quite easily. I've been penned a lot up here randomly, and even underneath it's only 230 next to the mantlet. This is probably the strongest part, so you will bounce occasionally. Even if you use all your gun depression though, like 10 degrees, it's like 270 effective. Tier 10s and 9s can just go through pretty consistently, and even tier 8s with really high pen can actually pen your turret when you're hauled down. So it is quite frustrating. But those are my thoughts on the Bisonte C45. It is thoroughly mediocre. It is a good crew trainer, and if you are interested in a unique tank, it is great for that, and it does make some credits, and it is kind of fun. But if you're looking for like a meta breaker, like a Defender or Progetto, that is not what this is. Anyways, thank you for tuning in, guys. Feel free to follow and subscribe, and I'll see you guys around.